I'm going to turn it over next to Leahna. Leahna is a powerhouse in her own right. I did not know you were a lawyer in the Biden administration. You were born and raised in Honolulu, Hawaii. You are the project manager for DHLM, a newly created department in the city and county of Honolulu. You've also worked in the private sector, helping to figure out how to make projects pencil, how to actually increase the supply of housing. So the question I'm going to ask you is really easy. Can you share what DHLM is working on right now?
Sure. Thank you, Perry. Aloha, everyone. Thank you all for being here. So I first want to start with an overview of something called the Strategic Housing Plan. So this was put together and presented to City Council last January, and it identified 6 key priorities for tackling this housing issue at the city. First was establishing the Department of Housing and Land Management, the department that I work in. This was officially established in July of this year. And the purpose of this department is to have a centralized housing department for the first time in 30 years. And how this operates, it's kind of like a housing production conveyor belt. We have functions of land transactions and acquisitions, and our development division to help manage the projects to be built on those sites, and financing to make sure those projects are feasible, as well as policy to make sure that we can expedite the process to completion. So my second point, we are partnering with private developers to build on underutilized city lands. So if you look at the red markers on the map, there are 10 of them. These are 10 existing city properties that some of which have been sitting idle for decades. What we did is we're issuing solicitations for developers to bid on these sites to build affordable housing and mixed-use projects. So far, we have issued 8 solicitations. We've selected development partners. We have 2 more to go. But in total, this will produce about 2,500 new housing units. And they're all across Oahu. And you can see the blue line there, that's Skyline Rail, which brings me to my next point. Our third key priority is driving development in our transit-oriented development areas. So this is along the rail. I first heard about the rail when I was in 4th grade. And now it's here. Just opened the second segment, the airport and Middle Street stops. So ridership has been almost doubling, and now our priority is to execute. We have these TOD plans that have been a decade in the making, working with the community to figure out what we want to see in these neighborhoods, from East Kapolei to Ala Moana. What this picture shows, this is the Kuili Station in Iwilei. So that is our third priority. It's our big city project to redevelop the Iwilei area. It's about 17 acres total and is estimated to bring another 2,000 to 3,000 units of housing. So in 2024, DHLM, we purchased Iwilei Center, and we selected a developer, Housing, to develop on that site. We have a master plan in the process for the remaining 17 acres, but that Iwilei Center is the core of the larger project. Fifth point is that we're working on creating financing structures. So we may have all the ideas of where housing should go, but we can't execute if we can't finance these projects, and these projects can't pencil. So what we're doing in our department is we're trying to figure out other ways we can help subsidize these projects, because the current existing public subsidies, they're oversubscribed and becoming very competitive. So we need to think about other ways we can help developers finance their projects and create the housing units that we need. My last point is that we have our policy division led by Gavin Thornton, our policy director is back there. And this is looking at our existing policies and processes to see how can we streamline and expedite completion of these housing units.